Right. Are we live? Live. Oh, good, we are. Right, but I don't know how many people are watching. We got nobody watching. 4 people are watching, apparently. Welcome, all 4 of you. Hope you're doing all right. Just going to wait for the numbers to build. If they do, I think this is partly my fault. Maybe I didn't advertise this well enough. I've only literally just sent a text to someone and inboxed a few people. So it might take a while for people to join. All right. David knows about it. Okay. I do hope it's 3 people watching now. Oh dear. Oh well, I mean, I suppose it's not a crucial issue. I suppose is it? It's just a bit. I suppose it's a bit of fun we're having. We're gonna have a bit of fun this evening. I hope. Yeah. But I'll just wait for you guys to build up. Oh, hello, Hugo Rune. Greetings, and the Teddy Bear Adventures. Hello, Teddy Bear Adventures. Hello, Tor Engard. Hello, David Splendid Isolation. We're 7 now. That's good. That's good. We're building. We're building the numbers. Hello, Yarlan Zay. Welcome, Yarlan Zay. How are you? It's good you guys are with us. Let's. If we got 6, okay. So, in accordance with the cast, that's all 5 of the guys and Sam. All right. So we've got almost as many people as there are in the main cast of the film, which is good. But hopefully we'll get a few more than that. 7 now. That's really, really good. That's good. Cerastium. Greetings, Cerastium, if I spell that right. Oh, it's Stuart, the other half of the Mitchell brothers. Is there a Stuart? I thought it was Grant and Phil. Not that I've watched that shit EastEnders. I haven't watched it for bloody years. But anyway, yeah, it's So tell me, how many of you've watched the movie? Can I put a 1 in chat if you've watched the movie? Because I hope you have. Put a 0 if you haven't. Put it that way. Put a 0 in chat if you've not watched the movie. Because no, you don't have to go away if you've watched the movie. I wouldn't say stop watching, but there will be spoilers. All right. David's seen it. That's great. I know you told me you'd seen it, David. That's cool. David's seen it. Yarlan. Okay, mate. There's going to be spoilers, I'm afraid. Yarlan, just to let you know. Oh, Stuart. Yeah, of course. Hello, Stuart. Oh, right. You got a different name? I mean, you got a different username. What was your previous username? I can't remember. But of course, you've been. Oh, Tor's not seen it. Oh dear. Hugo's not seen it. Oh my goodness me. Well, I've given you plenty of time. You've had like a month. I think I did the introduction about a month ago, didn't I? Just before I went off to contact. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I was giving you plenty of time. I mean, the thing about it is, Carassium's not seen it. Oh dear. So only David's seen it. Oh, that's my dog. Oh, the dog has a YouTube account. I see. Right. Well, good. Does he upload content? Does he post videos of himself chewing bones and chasing cats and things like that? All right. Does he do that? It's bloody hot here. I've got a fan down here. I'm putting my arm in the fan because it's so hot in here. Man. It's so hot. He sure does. Oh, cool. Good for him, Teddy Bear. I was watching The Angry Astronaut the other day. He's actually in this country at the moment. He's in Britain. And he has and he's saying, "Oh God, it's so hot here. We don't have air conditioning." Yeah, you're about to melt away too, are you, Yarlan? Okay. Well, this might not be a very long live stream, but we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I'm going to go through your comments. I'm going to go through the comments that people left behind. So to begin with, these are the comments, and these are the notice comments. These are the comments that people left on the actual on the notice. All right. David says, yeah, there are pubs called the World's End. Probably the most famous one is in Edinburgh, famous for the World's End murders. Yeah, there's one in London too called the World's End. It's not an uncommon pub name. Obviously very appropriate considering the plot of the film. So DJ B2 says, beer makes me think faster and type faster. Lol. He says lol. And DJ says, Ben, you, Liz and Mark are costing me months' worth of beer tokens. I got it down to twice a week, FFS. Oh, is that because of the videos we've done on? I was on the channel with Liz and Mark again the other day, didn't I? Watched it recently, says DJ. Oh, you've watched DJ's watched it, The World's End, and Neil Peel Paranormal Peep Show says first. Oh, good. Well, DJ, why don't you join the live stream then? Come and join the live stream, mate. Come and join the live stream. Yeah, the pubs. I can almost remember them off by heart. Okay. This the World's End pubs. The World's End pub names. I went through this in the review. A lot of this is going to go through the review. But it is the first post, the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, the hole in the wall, and of course, the World's End. And there's a reason. There's a reason for all of them. There's all of them have like a meaning behind them. All of them have a meaning behind them. So, so for those of you who've seen the film, or even if you haven't, do you have any comments or questions you need to ask me? Because otherwise, this is not going to be a very long live stream. But Tor says, not been able to see much movies since nothing's happening now. All right. Well, you can always fill the time up, you know, with films, watching some movies and stuff. Yeah, but it's nice you all to join me. And Stuart appeared in my video called "The Birthplace of the Beast." Yes, that was quite something, wasn't it? Are they got a blue plaque on that house yet, Stuart? They're not taking our advice and put a blue plaque on it. They got a blue plaque for Napoleon just across the road. He was there much earlier, 100 years earlier. But you know, but I thought I'd go through this. I can't play you any clips because my channel is so tightly shadow banned and so monitored. The moment I start playing clips, it doesn't matter if it's fair use. It'll just immediately yeet the stream. Hugo says I'm just not interested in films. Really? Not even with a few spliffs in a tin? Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, so I'm gonna I can just go through the scripts. So I mean, the film goes through several changes in the film, and then the first one is when they reach the cross hands. That's like the beginning of where the film very suddenly and abruptly, without any warning or any hints, turns into the cross hands. Turns into a different kind of film at the cross hands, the fourth pub. And until then, I mean, until you'd be forgiven for thinking you weren't watching anything sci-fi or anything weird. It's just you'd just be thinking it's just some kind of like lads drama. And then very suddenly it turns into a completely different kind of film. Hello, Nihilist Lives Matter. Welcome. Who is the HP in the World's End? David has asked $1 million question. What's this number here? Connection is fairly good. I'm not on Wi-Fi. Okay. You've asked $1 million question. I mean, I'm sure someone would. Have you seen the review, David? Have you seen the review? Oh, Yarlin, you've seen the World's End. I thought you put a 0 in there. All right. Maybe you're thinking of a different film. This is David has asked $1 million question, right? Why is this a hospital portrait in film? Well, if you watch the review, I mean, I don't know if you have, David, and you're not obliged to. You're not obliged to watch it, obviously. But I consider it, even though it's I don't know why this happened, and it's partly wishful thinking, but there's just something about it which epitomizes hospital portrait culture. Jarl Zay says, yes, our local railway station was featured in the World's End. That's right. It was the hole in the wall, I believe. It was the hole in the wall. Yeah, and a lot of people, fans of the film, want to do the Golden Mile. The World's End filming locations, right? Yeah, but you cannot do the Golden Mile because it's so far. Everything is so far apart. In fact, you'd have to go hundreds of miles to do the entire Golden Mile, and you wouldn't be able to have a pub at every. You wouldn't be able to have a drink at every pub because they're not all pubs. So, for example, some of them are. Others are other buildings. Some of them are other buildings that have been made into pubs. So, for example, right. Well, here we go. This is jammed now. Yeah, Letchworth Garden City, pub number 11, the hole in the wall. It's the railway station, Letchworth Garden City. I'm sure loads and loads of fans of the movies go to it. I'm sure they do. I'm sure loads of movie fans will go there. Hugo hasn't blocked you, has he? Maybe I'm blocked by Hugo. Hugo, have you blocked? Oh no, Hugo can see you, David. Hugo can see you, yeah. But hello, Nihilist Lives Matter. How are you? But yeah, put all comments. Make sure you select all comments and not just top comments. Select all comments. All right. Okay. Yes, the movie locations. I can show you them. And of course, they're going to be a long way away. They're not all in the same town, even. So this is the actual World's End. It's the Gardener's Arms in Wilbury Hills Road, Letchworth Garden City. That there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That is the World's End pub. That's the final destination, pub number 12. And here we go. Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire, London. See, this is all the different places. Gives you some details about it here. And this is the actual roundabout in Letchworth Garden City. Some of it was filmed in Letchworth Garden City. That's apparently that was the world's first roundabout. Apparently. And this is the first post. It's called the Pear Tree, Hollybush Lane. The first post is called the Pear Tree, and it's in Welwyn Garden City. I don't know how far away that is from Letchworth Garden City. We can check on a map. I know there's a lot of places called garden cities north of London, I think. No, I'm not. Oh, I am a robot. Yes, I am. No, yes, if you pull my head off, blood will come out, not blue ink. All right. No, I'm not a robot. So let's have a look where these places are. I know it's Hertfordshire, I think, north of London. So there's Welwyn Garden City. So where's Letchworth Garden City? Let's have a look. Let's find it. Letchworth Garden City. Oh, it's actually just a short distance from Welwyn Garden City. It's not 100 miles. It's about 10 miles. There we are. Oh, so how are you guys getting on? Oh, we have here Lorenzo Sinclair. Greetings. And we have anyone new. Welcome, Lorenzo. How are you, sir? Teddy Bear Adventures internet keeps dropping. Oh dear, that's Alistair Crowley haunting your. He's come. I mentioned him. I mentioned his birthplace, and suddenly he's coming back to haunt you now. Yeah. So let's go back to the pubs. I mean, sure, you can do some of these pubs. I mean, if you can do some of them, the ones that are really pubs. I mean, they don't have the names they do in the film, but they do. They are there. This is here. It's the Doctor's Tonic, and this is actually the Old Familiar, which of course, I'm sure that if you go inside the Doctor's Tonic, it actually does look different from the Pear Tree. I'm sure that's just obviously the interior shots were done in a studio. They weren't done in real pubs. This is the Cork in Welwyn Garden City, which is the famous cock in the film. The Cork, that's a good name for a pub, isn't it? The Cork. All right, so Alan Zay says the railway is where they all meet before the pub crawl. I worked in the building overlooking it. That is in High Wycombe, Yarlan, yes. I've been to that station because when I used to go to the High Wycombe Paranormal Group, I always used to get off at that station, and Neil Peel used to pick me up, or one of the other people who run the group. Yeah, those are the days. Unfortunately, that group's disbanded now. It's disbanded. It's the famous cock. The Parkway Bar is actually the Cross Hands. Cross Hands is actually called the Parkway Bar in Welwyn Garden City. You can actually go to Welwyn Garden City, and here in Letchworth Garden City is pub number 5, the Good Companions, which is actually Spearpoint Computers. So you'd have to go in there. I mean, the Good Companions actually doesn't play much of a role in the film. They just go in there, have a pint, and there's the strange guy behind the bar, and people give them weird looks. But nothing really happens in the Good Companions. It's called that probably just because they are good companions together and everything, and then the blanks are all doing their thing as well. But it's if you go in there now, you might find some weird people. I don't know, but it's Spearpoint Computers. That's what it is now. Venue number 5, the World's End pub. All right, okay. This is inside. All right. Oh, I see. Right. So they did actually. This is not a studio. This is the inside of the Good Companions. That's the outside of the Good Companions. This is the inside. They used a real pub, and they did it up as a location, an indoor location. I see, but it's in Islington, London, so it's a long way away from the exterior, which is in Letchworth Garden City. I see. But that's the interior of the Good Companions, right? Yeah. This is the trusty servant. It's actually the Three Magnets in Letchworth Garden City. That's the kind of name that sounds like a Weatherspoons. It sounds to me a bit like a Weatherspoons, to be honest. I don't know if it is. And this is the two-headed dog, which is called the Colonnade, and it's in Letchworth Garden City, as is the Three Magnets. Yeah. Right, now this is the Mermaid, which is actually a cinema, and I remember I mentioned this in the review. It's a Broadway cinema, Letchworth Garden City. Yeah. And you see, look what the film it's showing, of course, is The World's End. I bet you they had a screening in there. Yeah. The mermaid in the series that's another crucial turning point in the film when they're in the mermaid, because that's when you find out from Mad Basil what's really going on. So he does a lot of explaining, like a lot of conspiracy theorists, including me. Mad Basil was proved right. Yeah, it's in Letchworth Garden City, opened in 1936. 1936, very much an independent cinema. The interior is filmed at Chalfont campus, a former college in Newlands Park, just outside Chalfont, St Giles, Buckinghamshire. Right. So the interior, they actually used this place called Chalfont campus for the interior. Right. Now this one here is the Beehive. This is the pub where there's a brilliant fight scene. It's where they meet the Mr. Shepherd blank, and he explains everything to them. He kind of explains everything. And this is actually a Thai garden, which I suppose is a Thai restaurant. Jernon Road, Letchworth Garden City. Right. Right. Oh, it's only a few doors away from Pub 9, which is the Broadway, which is, of course, we'll come into that in a minute. Yeah. Right. This is the Smokehouse, Howard Garden Social Centre, which is not a bowl. It's actually not a bowling green by the look of things, but they must have made it up to look like a bowling green. But that's the exterior of the Smokehouse. And here we have pub number 10. So pub number 9, that's pub number 9. The Broadway, which one was the Broadway? The Colonnade, Three Magnets, Spearpoint Computers, the Parkway Bar, the Cork, Doctor's Tonic. All right, so it's the Broadway. And maybe that's one coming up. And maybe one coming up. But that's in Letchworth Garden City again. The Arena Tavern is the King's Head. All right, so that was a pub. That's the Arena Tavern in Letchworth Garden City. Right. The escape route fortuitously leads through pub number 10. And he serves himself a pint there because obviously the bar staff have gone off somewhere. And then the hole in the wall, which of course is Letchworth Garden City Railway Station. Done up to look like a pub. Yeah, and they do a good job on it, actually. Yeah, they do a good job on it. And that is pub number 12, the World's End, is the Gardener's Arms, Wilbury Road, Letchworth Garden City. That's the interior of it. It's obviously the interior is a studio in the film, because you know when you see it that it can't possibly be a real pub interior because of what happens in the pub. But you see, the bar is quite well modelled on that. So yeah, there you go. Interesting stuff. Interesting indeed. Good evening, Lord. Oh, Lorenzo says I'm Lord Ben the JR Porter. That's quite something. Neil moved away before we could go to one of his meetups in Downton. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was a good group, but it's sort of like, they were getting like hardly any people turning up. I did a couple of talks for them. I did film it. But unfortunately, kind of like, it disappeared. So if you do want to do the Golden Mile pub crawl, you can do it. But you can't obviously have a drink in every pub because they're not all pubs. Only there's about 3 or 4 of them that are not pubs, as you saw. Okay, guys, drink up. Let's boo-boo. Now, again, let's go through these turning points. Let's go through. I've got the script now. You can get the World's End script. It's here. Just Google World's End script. The script is a PDF. You can get it anywhere there. You see. And like I said, there are a couple of crucial scenes. And one of them, as I said, is he doesn't explain much, but there's in the cross hands, you suddenly realize this is a very different, it suddenly turns into a very different kind of film to how they started off. It reminds you a little bit, it's very sort of on a human level. You don't understand what's really going on. It's rather like Stephen King's The Mist, if you've ever seen that film. So they go into the mermaid, and it's called the mermaid because there's this seductive element, which is what mermaids are infamous for in mythology. They lure the sailors to their death on the rocks. And they see the marmalade sandwich, these three girls. Was it Becky Salt, Erica Leeks, and can't remember the other one. And they're young. They're the same age they were when they first met. And they're so overwhelmed by the beauty of these three young women that they don't stop for a minute and think, how the hell is this happening? Is this sounds too good to be true? So yeah, so this is very interesting because Oliver, as you know, gets replaced. He gets replaced in the Trusty Servant, and in the Beehive, of course, it all comes out in the Beehive. This is why it's very interesting. This is why you notice that Mr. Shepherd refers to Oliver as "Oh man." Now, a teacher wouldn't normally refer to one of his pupils by their nickname that the other kids give them. So why does Mr. Shepherd do that? The answer is because the scriptwriters needed to draw attention to Oliver's scar, his birthmark, which he didn't have, but now is back. It's back because they've created a new Oliver from his DNA. They've created a blank which is modelled on Oliver. The real Oliver, of course, has been mulched, as the big light explains later on. The big lamp explains later. Right. Now, what happens is they go into the... Oliver says, keep an eye out for blanks, he says. And winks at them. He's behaving... I mean, after watching it again, I noticed, he's not affected by the drink. I mean, Oliver, famously, he couldn't hold his drink the first time. He was out after 5 pubs. He was down and out, throwing up in the street. And then suddenly he's like, he's acting very polished. He's acting like he does when he's showing people around a house, when he's being an estate agent. And you think he's not affected by the drink, and he's acting in a particular weirdly stilted and forced manner. And when you watch the film and you know what's happened. I mean, I didn't spot it the first time, but of course, when you watch it again, this is what's good to watch films more than once. You see immediately that his scar is back. And this is when he goes off to the toilet. He goes off to the toilet. This is just, and then when Oliver goes off to the toilet, everything's immediately distracted because that's when Gary chooses to go up and talk to the Reverend Green, and there's that drama associated with him, and the Reverend Green starts to explain a few things to them. But the real explanation comes from Mad Basil. You realise, of course, that as I said in the review, Reverend Green and his two mates, that the Shifty Twins. What is it? The Mad Hatter and the Shifty Twins. Good name for a band. That. Write it down, Steve. Yeah, the Shifty Twins. You realise that they are human. They're not. They haven't been replaced, but they're working for the blanks, the aliens. They are capos. They're collaborators. They're quislings. So yeah, and so Oliver appears behind Sam, laden with drinks. Sam knocks into him, causing him to spill. At that precise moment, Stephen is dragged through a doorway out of sight by an unseen pair of hands. Sam turns back. Stephen is gone. Sam, in the cloakroom, Stephen is bundled into the dark cloakroom, filled with coats by a mysterious figure wearing a balaclava. Now, if you watch the film, you'll realise that they must have changed their mind after they wrote the script, because, of course, Basil is wearing a teacher's mortarboard, of all things. But he says, Stephen, please, I have so much to live for. And the mysterious figure whips off his balaclava, or mortarboard. And Basil says, it's me, you numpty. It's me. What's that? The actor who plays Mad Basil. He's cool. He is. He's really cool. Where is it? Here we go. I've got a fandom page open here somewhere. Where is it? Here we are. Fandom. What's the name of the actor? He's like a classic actor. David Bradley. And so, I mean, he's like been in films, really old films. I mean, they did manage to get hold of some really David Bradley. Here we go. This is him. They did manage to get hold of some real classic actors for these movies. What's his name? Edgar Wright did. He played Argus Filch in the Harry Potter series. He's been in Game of Thrones and the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy. Oh, has he been in all of them? All right. He's 83. Yeah, cool. Been acting since 1971. Cool. There he is. Yeah, he's. As I mentioned before, that in Hot Fuzz, they managed to get Billy Whitelaw, and Billy Whitelaw is like one of the most classic actresses of all. There we go. Billy Whitelaw. It was her last movie. Hot Fuzz was her last movie. Bit of trivia here. This is her. Died 2014, right? So, but she was in. When was her first movie? I mean, she's been going for years. 1961. Oh, that was an award. Sorry. This was her first movie, 1953, as the waitress. So she's a classic, very experienced actor. That was her last movie. So you scroll down. Her last movie was Hot Fuzz in 2007, final film role. So there's a lot of like new talent in these films, but there's also a lot of real classic thespians in these movies. Dave, nobody's posting. Well, there's only 13 people watching, David. What's this? He was a doctor in Doctor Who as well, was he? Oh, well, I didn't know that. But anyway, Mad Basil says, it's me, you numpty. As I said in the review, the hospital porters, like, I believe these characters represent archetypal hospital portering characters. And I think you can guess which one Mad Basil is meant, reminds you of. Which particular hospital porter does Mad Basil remind you of? I think you can guess. And Basil says, I knew seeing your faces again would spill trouble. And Stephen says, how do I know it's really you? And Matt Basil says, because I'm the only one who's going to tell you the truth about Newton Haven. Now, do you recall the events of the evening of June the 22nd, 1990? Now, this is when, and then it goes back to the next scene, which is in the continuous scene in the Mermaid, and that's when they see the marmalade sandwich. And then Basil said, that was the night they arrived. Remember the shooting star? That's interesting because that's just 2 days after the pub crawl. Because they left school and had the pub crawl on the 20th of June, 1990. And, right. That was them. Nothing happened at first. They were getting ready, burrowing in underground, preparing. Not long after you lot left, people started to change. 1 or 2 at first, then more. They replaced people of influence, taking over the institutions, remaking, remodeling, refurbishing, doing everything they could to make us join them. Interesting, isn't it? And then Basil continues, it's not like the replacements were evil, far from it. People got a lot friendlier. That's how they do it. Basil says, it's not an invasion. And then this is when it's a voiceover because you are watching Gary, Andy, and Peter just completely hypnotized by the marmalade sandwich, kissing them, cuddling them, etc. Overcome with lust, as mermaids tend to make people. It's a merger. They don't want to get rid of us, not if they can help it. They want us to be another link in their chain, which is fine unless you say no. Basil said, that's when you get replaced. Once they get your DNA, they've got you. And he says, how do they get your DNA? Any way they like. Blood tests, the knit nurse, sweat, kissing, saliva, the rim of the glass. And Basil produces his straw. Why do you think I drink with this crazy straw? Not so crazy now, is it? If you're not on their side, they'll create a version that is. Then they can bring you back exactly the same, or even make you young again. It looks like you even has your memories, but it's just a vessel to spread their message. People trust, love, respect, desire, replaced in the name of progress. That's interesting, isn't it? Because they have memories, but as you know, it's selective memories. This comes up again and again. The blanks have selective memories, as Andy accuses Gary of having. And it's interesting that some people, like, you don't notice the difference. I mean, at the end, of course, when the blanks wake up, there's this scene where Pete goes back to his wife and children, or the Pete blank goes and lives with Pete's wife and children, and the wife and children don't recognize, they don't even know. Even he makes a joke about removing his hand, but they don't actually realize that it's not him. Yeah, how strange. And then there's another scene in the beehive. That's when they meet Mr. Shepherd. Now, again, it's a bit of a... Where's the bee? Oh, right, there's the beehive, yeah. Right. This is when they meet Mr. Shepherd. Oliver says, "Whose round is it?" This is the blank Oliver. "It's mine." And there's Mr. Shepherd. "Why don't you boys join me? Looks like you could do with a drink. Let's have a little chat about your future. Are you a robot?" And anyone says, "Does anyone know what robot means?" It means slave. "No, Peter, I'm not a robot." Well, it turns out he's a blank. And Stephen says, "You're on their side, though, Mr. Shepherd." This isn't about sides, Stephen. It's not the shirts versus skins. It's about working together as one team. "I know it seems weird and a bit scary, but believe me, it's quite the opposite. They're here to help, kids. They're here to help, kids, to straighten us out and prepare us for the big league. They've seen something in us, a potential, like the promise I saw in you. There's a vast community of worlds up there, living peacefully, cooperatively, together, a network of unity and consistency. And guess what? They want us along for the ride. Pretty cool, hey, gang?" And all of us says, "So they're not going to harm us." "Far from it, oh man." See, Mr. Shepherd, then this is a prelude to the following part of the scene where Oliver is uncovered as a blank. He calls him "oh man," so it gets the viewer. It's a good bit of writing. I love this kind of script writing. It's just a little word that reminds people about the scar, the birthmark. Because Oliver had it removed with laser surgery, but it's back because this is not Oliver. It's created from his DNA, which includes, of course, the birthmark. They're here to help. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're afraid to get tough. I've had to straighten you all out in my time. What among you wouldn't thank me for it? They're much like teachers in a way. Stern, yes. Frightening sometimes. But it's all for our betterment. So what do you say? Why don't we go somewhere and talk about this properly? Yeah. Well, it seems to be, and then Oliver says it seems to be pretty clear what Mr. Shepherd is saying. And then Andy smashes his head in apart. Yeah. And then there's the next fight. And then Mr. Shepherd and all the other blanks say, "Humans, you leave us no recourse. If you'll not join us willingly, we will be forced to use other means of persuasion." Now, what Mr. Shepherd actually says in this scene is what every colonial imperialist says about the people they conquer. They don't say, "We're going to take over you. They never say things like, "We're going to destroy your culture and imprison you and enslave you for our benefit so we can exploit you." They will say, "We want to do this for your own good." And they'll say these very strange. They'll say these very same things. They will say they want us in. You can join the big league. We want to work with you as a team. There's a vast community of worlds up there living peacefully. This is what all imperialists will say. The Roman Empire, British Empire, Spanish, the Spanish conquistadors. They all say that. It just makes me wonder where. I mean, and then at the end, there's the point where it all descends into the underground base. Here we go. So this is the point. He pulls the pump for the beer, and nothing happens. And then everything, it turns out that the entire bar and the floor around it is like a lift that takes you down into the underground base. It's described as being a dark chamber underneath Newton Haven, cables and pipes line the wall, evidence of the active network. Only the shaft of light from the world's end above, the sunken pub floor below. And a thundering voice says, "Gary King." It's a well-spoken voice, godlike surround. Gary King of the humans. He says, "We are here to enable your full potential as we have with countless worlds across the galaxy." And of course, I won't go into what Gary says to him, because it's a very funny piece of dialogue. As I said, it reminds me of the Arthur C. Clarke story, No Morning After. We appropriate, and then the Peter blank comes out and says in the voice of the light, "We appropriate a small percentage of the population, 2,000 or so penetration points across the planet to ensure maximum coverage." And you see a map, a globe with a series of spots on it indicating where these communities are, and indeed Newton Haven's one of them. And from there we create simulants. Simulant is a word from Red Dwarf. I didn't know it was, but it refers to a robot type creature. But these are like robots that look exactly like humans. We create simulants to spread our ideologies through peaceful indoctrination. Our objective is simple: to ready the population for participation in our galactic community. This method requires a small sacrifice, but the fewer replacements we make, the more successful we consider our operation. Of course, we welcome those who volunteer themselves. We can offer attractive incentives for those who willingly combine. The chance to be young again and yet retain selected memories. Isn't that something you'd like? Something you've always wanted? The beauty of our system is that we all win. There are no losers. It's really, and then he sees himself as a young man. He sees himself as his younger self, who says, "Allow me to carry your legend forward. Let the man you have become be the boy that you were." And that's an interesting phrase. He wants Gary to volunteer to be replaced. "We are the networks, as the like. We're here for your betterment. In the last 23 years, have you not marveled at information technology?" So they're saying this is like the sort of Philip Corso stuff, that the aliens have provided them with technology. The light says, "You are children and you require guidance. There's no room for imperfection if the Earth is to be a successful member of our society. Must the galaxy be subjected to an entire planet of people like you?" And he says that your Earth is the least civilized in the entire galaxy. It's good, yeah. So what I'm thinking about this is, I mean, there's the hospital portering issue. Obviously, the hospital porter I describe in the review why I think this is an archetypal hospital portering movie, because it is. It's like the characters are like hospital porters that I've known, or HPs, particular types of HP that I've known over the years, particular characters, archetypal characters within the HPS. But of course, this is reminiscent. There's many sci-fi themes like this, or like alien invasion movies, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, etc. Because this would be more likely. This is more likely how an alien invasion would go. It wouldn't be like giant motherships in the sky like Independence Day. If that happened, I'd think it's more likely to be Project Bluebeam. It would be a slow infiltration where they would land. If they had, for example, imperialistic ambitions on the Earth, they would insert their agents into various places. With hybrids, and indeed, there's this so much of alien contact involves hybridization. So, what if this is true? I'm not saying they're literally robots full of blue ink, but that could be an equivalent of like the reptilians or the hybrids. alien-human hybrids. I believe I've met a couple of these people. It could be the reptilians that, well, of course, it's always blamed on David Icke or attributed to David Icke, but he's not the only person who's talked about reptilians. It's an old legend that goes back a long way. So that's the most interesting aspect of the film, I think. It's this ufological element, not the hospital portering element so much as the ufological element. Could there be some truth behind it? Anyway, now it's up to you guys. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you don't, then that's okay. It's been a 40-minute live stream. We've discussed the film as best as we can, to the point that we can. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to post a contribution, and if you can't, don't worry about it. But yeah, I'll just while you're doing that, I'll just show you a little bit more of this here. Yeah, the good companion, the first post. Yeah, now the old familiar, it looks exactly the same inside as the first post, and Oliver claims this is a result of starbucking or chain pubs taking over the free houses, so they all made to look the same. And I did say that's what essentially Allied Domecq did to the morals chain here in Oxford. And at the end, you see, Steve actually says, "Stop starbucking us," to the big light. The famous cock is because, I mean, the thing is, it's a joke because he is the famous cock. The famous cock is Gary because his behaviour got him banned during the first pub crawl, and even after 20 years, people are still remember him. And in order to keep the crawl going, Gary finishes a few discarded pints from the table. Oh my God, yeah. The cross hands. And of course, that's where everything changes. And it's rather strange that there's no hints beforehand that this is going to happen. I mean, I could compare this to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Because if you watch The Birds, which is an excellent movie, if you watch the first 40 minutes, you'd think this is some kind of romantic drama. But there are clues that all is not well. I mean, I think Hitchcock does manage to create an atmosphere of menace by the behavior of the birds that appear in the first act of the film. The Good Companions is, like I say, nothing much happens in there except they go in and they act normal. The Trusty Servant is, of course, where the trusty servant. Of course, the trusty servant is, of course, the Reverend Green and the Shifty twins. They are the trusty servants. This is when this discussion comes about slavery, and it turns out that they are working for the network. And the cross hands, of course, refers to the fight. It could refer to the fight they had. They could be, and the Old Familiar, of course, is called that because firstly, it's exactly the same as the first post. Secondly, they meet up with Sam, so they meet up with another old friend. The two-headed dog, of course, a two-headed dog is an aberration. It's something unnatural, a mutant, and that's where you find the evil twins, which of course are blanks that speak in unison. Very obviously, they are, and they make a buzzing noise as they move, indicating they are definitely blanks. The mermaid, of course, as I explained, it could be called the Beehive because that's the pub where you get the most people in it, the most blanks. It's almost like it is a kind of community. And then, in a sense, Mr. Shepherd actually talks about how that you could, in a sense, he's inviting them to join the hive. Yeah. Hello, Phuket. How are you? I'll come back to your questions and comments in a minute, guys. So in a sense, he's talking about humans as if they are part of this. The beehive symbolizing the network. The king's head, of course, that's where you see the name. It says that a name goes a little deeper though, because it's the pub where Gary's personal struggles come to light. It's the king's head. He's Gary King. It's inside his head. The hole in the wall, of course, the railway station in Letchworth, Garden City. It's called the hole in the wall because the hole is made by the beast. Steve drives the beast through the wall, doesn't he? And the world's end, of course, self-explanatory. It's interesting, isn't it? Hey, Terry Joyce, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. I was watching your live stream earlier, Great to see you here. Thank you very much for coming. Yarlan Zay says, plausible deniability, art imitating life or life imitating art. Are you referring here to... Are you actually referring here to the idea that this is giving out some kind of information? Because I don't think Edgar Wright is into, or Simon Pegg are a part of our community. I don't think they are ufologists. I don't really believe that they seriously are part of. I've never seen them at Awaken Aware. I've never seen them at Contact in the Desert. It's possible they've had some contact with our ideas. I know there are some filmmakers who have, I believe. But I personally, I don't believe they're trying to give out information secretly. I mean, we could discuss the films. There are other films where I believe there is an attempt to give out information, but I don't think this is one of them. I don't. It's possible they have come across these ideas subconsciously. That it's a subconscious thing. It's just under the surface. It's morphic, something they've picked up. I think a lot of filmmakers, writers, musicians, other people like that, they do that. They pick up these ideas without necessarily meaning to. They don't mean to give the information out. It's just the information is circulating out there and they pick it up subconsciously. Oh, Hugo, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. So it is true. I mean, of course, life does imitate art. Art imitates life. I mean, it's very obvious in my book, Roswell Rising, a Novel of Disclosure, available at all good bookshops now, priced £10, is I've made it specifically as an allegorical novel. It is meant to be describing the real world in a fictional allegory. Yeah. But for other people, it's more subtle. Others do it in a more subtle way, I think. For example, I think Aldous Huxley was a writer that also did what I wanted to do, but he wanted to do it in a more subtle way, so it wasn't so obvious. And even George Orwell, I'm not so much with 1984, with Animal Farm, I mean, you could read that and not realize that it's all about like the Russian Revolution, the rise of the Soviet Union, etc., etc., etc. Serastium says people who claim to be hybrids never offer their DNA for testing. So you mean, well, they had some do. Marie Carley did, I remember. And of course, she did that ridiculous thing with the Channel 5 or the BBC or whatever it was, which is now on bloody Netflix. And they took her DNA specimen. They found out she was human. But I mean, there are people I know who claim to be hybrids. Now, I have reason for believing them simply because there's other reasons too. For example, I don't want to go into detail. Somebody had a strange shaped head. Now, there's other reasons as well. I believe there are human alien hybrids around. Now, obviously, if they are, then their DNA will reveal that. And as a result, I mean, because it's so easy to pick up DNA now, this is one of the reasons the government must know they exist. And 69 Phuket, welcome, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you, mate. It's good you're here. We've got 15 people watching now, which is cool. Right, in Norway, there's one old sci-fi where one person are being killed and replaced by one hitchhiker after they visit one planet only inhabited by robots. I think you sent me that, didn't you? You sent me, didn't you? You emailed me that to me, didn't you? Yarlan says Simon Pegg was in Star Trek. Yeah, he was in Doctor Who as well. Do you remember he played the operator or whatever it was in that weird place where there's all the TV shows being produced? Toying, remember the thumb up. Thank you, Tor. Yes, please do. Thumb up if you like it. You don't have to. If you don't like it, don't. But please do, yeah. Orwell and Huxley were Fabian socialists. They were indeed. Both of them were. George Orwell was the school pupil of Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley was his teacher at Eton. I'd give a lot to be on a fly on the wall during one of their after-dinner chats. I really, really would. Serastium. They found out she was human. No surprise there. Hey, Serastium, are you a skeptic? We have a skeptic in our midst. The skep is strong with this one. Oh, Jacking Off. Hello, how are you? Jacking Off. That's a good name. That's not. I recognise your avatar. What happened to Bill Ryan? Oh, I think he's still doing Project Avalon, isn't he? Last time I checked, he was still running the Project Avalon group. He doesn't collaborate with Kerry Cassidy anymore. Yeah, and say there's rhesus negative blood types where some say it was aliens fiddling with human evolution. I don't know. I don't know because there could be other reasons for rhesus negative blood. I mean, but funny enough, there's a lot in the royal family. In fact, some have theorized that one of Henry VIII's wives had rhesus blood type because of all the miscarriages and things she had. Because, as you know, Henry VIII desperately wanted to have a son. In the end, he had two daughters who both of them became queen, and then one of them cut the other one's head off. So what a family, eh? And of course, he killed two of them by cutting their heads off. Honestly, if anyone other than a king did that, he'd be called a serial killer. What a world. But I mean, it's weird that there, people like David Icke talk about the reptilian presence in the elite bloodlines. Catherine of Aragon, that was her, Celestium. Yeah, she. Someone speculated that she actually had that. Tor Edgar, do the DNA tests also include junk DNA? I don't know. I don't know the biological details of how DNA tests are done. I know that the police use them all the time. When I was arrested in 2017, I had some DNA taken from me. They just rubbed like a cotton bud inside my cheek, and they kept it. So they have my my genome on record. They could create a blank of me. Oh my god! How would you work out I was a blank without smashing my head up and without smashing my head apart and letting the blue ink flow out? How would you work out? I mean, what scars have I got? I mean, I've got a couple of scars from various things. I've got a scar on my wrist there where I cut myself when I was a kid. I've got another one on my elbow somewhere. Oh, that's faded now, I think. I don't know. Any ideas? X-ray. Yeah. And this is a point. I mean, if presumably, there must be some kind of either willful denial or some other thing going on around here because of the number of people who have X-rays and other forms of medical imaging. Wouldn't there be some kind of what's the word? Wouldn't there be some kind of like people being sort of like aware of it? Wouldn't there, some people kind of work out that a large number of people would have to know something, wouldn't they? Doctors and people like that. I mean, at some point, some doctor would come out and say, there's some weird people who are not like the others. They have different shaped bones or whatever. I mean, surely you couldn't keep that a secret, could you? I mean, if there are hybrids, there can't be that many of them. I mean, for example, in Milton Haven, what would the local doctor think? Unless they replace the local doctor, he's going to notice that, when he goes and like tests people, they don't have any blood and they don't have anything inside them except for machinery and blue ink. Red Snapper, hello, how are you, sir? Thanks for all the comments. Oh, yeah. It's an interesting question, isn't it? But let me just find out where there's. I'm sure there's someone mentioned Bill Ryan. I think he mentioned this once, didn't he? By alien invasion. Was it like a stealthy alien invasion? Stealthy horror movies about aliens. Nope or Signs. I didn't like Nope very much. I thought it was all right, but I thought it was a bit stupid. And I mean, Jordan Peele's not a very good director, I don't think. But Signs is a bit better. Signs is M. Night Shyamalan film. Invasions of the Body Snatcher. That's one that's a bit more like. I think that is a little bit more like World's End, although it is Invasion of the Body Snatchers is obviously it's much darker in tone. It's not a comedy. Now, there's two versions of that. There was there was a really old one, and then there was this newer one. Hang on. There was the one with Donald Sutherland. There was a 1956 version and a 1978 version. I saw the 1978 one. Never seen the original. Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams. Yeah. The plot involves a San Francisco health inspector and his colleague who, over the course of a few days, discover that humans are being replaced by alien duplicates. Each is a perfect biological clone of the person replaced, but devoid of empathy and humanity. Isn't that exactly kind of like a bit like it's a kind of non-funny version of the World's End, isn't it? I don't know what you think about that. And Signs is different. Signs is more like the sort of like hard. It's the more, I don't know what you call it, like the more overt and kind of like violent alien invasion film. But it's a good movie. Signs is a bloody good movie. 2002 film by M. Night Shyamalan. Science fiction horror. Yeah, it's Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, and it's pretty good because they like it's Signs it's a bit like it's very like The Birds actually, and I think Shyamalan was a big Hitchcock fan, and there's many scenes that are kind of reproduced in The Birds that are almost reproduced exactly in this film. Red Snapper wasn't Invasion of the Body Snatchers both brilliant? A rare thing where the second one is as good as the first or better. I've never seen the first one, never seen the 1956 original. But Mel Gibson plays this guy, a priest, Graham, and his brother Merrill, Joaquin Phoenix. And they're basically trapped in this house, and you don't really know what's going on. There's the TV. Yes, that was the one with the glasses of water. Yeah. Funnily enough, these aliens, when land coming to the Earth, they can't stand water. Water kills them. It's poison to them, and it burns them. God knows how they're not going to be much good on Earth, then, are they? Well, I mean, what do they do when it rains? What's the point? What's the point of being on the Earth? I mean, Dave Cullen, Computing Forever, actually speculated that it wasn't about aliens; it was actually about demons rather than aliens. Signs was good. Always got spooked a bit when they see the alien from the roof. Yeah, that's the one where they see it poking its head out, don't they? And there's that children's party video. That's very scary. Do you know? I see that circulating around online. People claiming it's real. It's not. It's a part of the movie, but people are saying it's circulating. They remove the soundtrack and they remove the score, and they say this is breaking new UFO footage suddenly discovered in bloody Peru or somewhere, and it's not. It's just a part of the movie. Oh, but I mean, as alien invasion films go, I mean they and David says here, yeah, they're demons in Signs, like aliens are demons in real life. Well, I don't believe aliens. I think aliens and demons are two separate things, David. I know you disagree, but they are. And of course, the tinfoil hat bit, yeah, it's got little jokes in it because Merrill and the kids are like wearing tinfoil hats. Yeah, that's quite funny, that bit. Yeah, and of course, it's the kids who seem to know what's going on. That's very interesting, isn't it? They know about the water. They're the ones who have the idea of gathering lots of water around. And of course, the water saves them at the end of the day. And of course, it ends with the priest recovering his faith. Graham eventually gets his faith back, and he starts ministering again, which is interesting. That's an interesting touch. Welsh Ripper, hello. I'll tell you what's scary. Diane Abbott. Oh, she is, isn't she? She's terrifying. Torengan says, I saw an old Japanese UFO movie from the 50s where the aliens shaped themselves as humans, but when was shown a real body as star shape, since the was from stars funny. I'm not going to do a Stefan Molyneux on you and criticize you for your grammar. A Japanese UFO, when the alien shape was. Oh, well, the aliens appear in human shape, but when was shown a real body as star shape? Oh, you mean there's a real body of an alien? Yeah. Jacking off. I was abducted in 1986 from our old farm home, aged 5. I remember it well. 2 humanoids standing watching me as I floated up through the window. Always had this memory since age 5. Blimey, Jack. I actually think you've told me this, and because I recognise your avatar, you had a different name. Forget. Trying to remember a South America sounding author of strange books. Quite famous. Can anyone help? A South American author of strange books. I don't know. The Martians in War of the Worlds were done in by the humblest things on Earth, bacteria, minute invisible bacteria. Yeah, that was a little bit of that was kind of a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, wasn't it? Rather contrived ending, I thought. Not, I mean, I've only ever seen one of the films. That's the most recent one, but I've read the book. 69 Fuka, I don't know who you mean. Sorry, mate, I don't know who you mean. There are several ufologists and paranormal investigators from that part of the world. I don't know who you mean, though. Right. Okay. See. I don't know. Sorry. Now. Okay. My favorite alien invasion movie is Arrival. Not The Arrival. Arrival. This is a Denis Villeneuve film from 2016. How many of you have seen Arrival? Now, there are Transcendental books. You don't mean Carlos Castaneda, do you? Are you referring to Carlos Castaneda? War of the Worlds is that your favorite alien invasion film, David? Yeah. Carlos Castaneda's books. He wasn't South American. I think he was from the US. But a lot of the books, a lot of the yeah, not that one. No, let's matter. That's The Arrival. Yeah, that's not bad. It was it Carlos Castaneda? Yeah. Arrival is horrid, according to Steve Mumbling. Then it must be bloody good. If Steve Mumbling doesn't like it, it must be brilliant. Critters, yes, well, Tripper, that's really funny. Critters, it's a comedy. Yeah, it's really good. But Arrival is really cool because I mean, alien invasion movies vary in terms of technical quality and intellectual content. Arrival scores highly on both axes. It really does. It's a very, very intelligent, very well made alien invasion movie. It's the most believable. It really is. The Astronaut's Wife. I've not seen. Is that a film? Is that a film? Right. E.T. That's not really an alien invasion film, though. That's about aliens visiting the Earth, and they get trapped on the Earth and ended up being looked after by some children. Funny enough, there's another film, a much more recent film called Jules, which is really good. It's got Ben Kingsley. He plays an old man, and it's similar in plot to E.T., but in this case, the aliens end up. The alien interacts with the elders, the older generation of the community, not the children. The Teachings of Don Juan. That's the first one, Tor. Yeah, that's the first one, definitely. Close Encounters. Again, not an invasion there, David. It's a visit. It's a visitation. With E.T., it's the alien gets trapped on the Earth. Yarlan say Close Encounters gave me nightmares for years. Really? What's so scary about Close Encounters? It's one of the most benevolent kind of alien invasion film or alien movies ever. Oh, Phuket is talking about a deceased friend who was a postman for a bit and delivered letters to Carlos Castaneda in Moss Side, Manchester. I didn't know he lived there. Hi, Lorenzo. These are John Louis Borges, Paulo Coelho. All right. Jorge Luis Borges. I've heard that name. Yeah, I've heard he's the one who wrote about the little boy getting taken. Oh yeah, I suppose that is a bit scary, Yarlan. Yeah, and for a little kid, that could be scary. Yeah, but Jorge Luis Borges or Borges, however you pronounce that, he was the guy who wrote about Puerto Rico. He also wrote about I think he's the one who wrote about the plane, that plane where the aliens start crawling around on the outside of it. Jacking off. I wasn't scared when I saw these aliens back in 1986. I was just watching them, watching me. It wasn't until years later I realised. Did you have to have? I'm not going to ask you too many questions here on the live stream. I don't think, but it's. I think you told me a little bit about it, and feel free to contact me privately if you want. Cloverfield, that was a good one, Welsh Ripper. Yeah. David says, the scariest, I think, is the pod people of the body snatchers because the people merge into society and you get very paranoid. It was written as an allegory to communist infiltration in America. Was that its purpose? I know The Invaders was about that. And there was a lot of science fiction that was kind of used as that kind of Cold War allegory. I think what's that other film? It came from outer space. That was actually used as Cold War McCarthyist kind of propaganda. Yeah, It Came from Outer Space was quite good actually. Yeah, Alan, things scare you when you're young that don't scare you when you're older. I mean, I was scared. What was I scared of? I was this thing that absolutely terrified me, and I think it was a children's film. Quatermass in the Pit. That was bloody good. It was excellent. It was scary. Yeah, it was. That was a really good story. And I couldn't stop watching that. That was fantastic. I'm just trying to think about. Hello, Cheesy. How do you do? Welcome, Cheesy. Close Encounters when it takes the child is fairly scary. Yeah, it was a bit. I think. Yeah, The Thing. Oh, The Thing is great. Yeah, the original. I mean, the remake is kind of a prequel. It's not that bad actually. It would make a bad remake, but a good prequel. The recent Midwich Cuckoos was good. I prefer the '60s one. I didn't like the. Funny enough, I'm a big John Carpenter fan, but I don't think he did it very well. I don't think he did the Midwich Cuckoos very well. The best one was the original Village of the Damned. The Day of the Triffids. Yeah, another John Wyndham story. Yeah. Again, the Midwich Cuckoos is kind of it's kind of like this stealth infiltration kind of invasion story, where they just insert these children into this community. That's again, you see, there's so many of these films and books. There's got to be something real going on. There has to be. I mean, it has to be an allegory based on. I mean, when there are these many stories about a particular theme, and it's so old. I mean, it goes even like in the Bible, they talk about the Nephilim and things like that. It has to be connected to some real thing. The Mist is good, David. Yeah, that's a very good film. Based on a Stephen King story. What Stephen King does very well, and he does it very, very well. He does it exceptionally well in that film and that story. I know it was originally like a novella. He's very good at putting ordinary people into extraordinary circumstances and finding out how would they cope, how would they behave, how would they manage. Anyway, guys, I can't think of anything else to talk about now, except watch The Arrival. That's my favourite of these kinds of movies. If you've got any other comments or questions, I'm ready to call it a night. Let me know. Let's see something desperately you want to bring up, desperately you want to talk about. Feel free. Bernard. Oh, hello, Bernard. How you doing? I was really scared to hear that voice of the Mysterons in every Captain Scarlet ever. Yeah, this is the voice of the Mysterons. 69 Phuket. What's the background pic? It's a picture of some hospital porters because this is the St Theo's watch party. Better late than never. It's almost a month after St Theo's Day, but I thought we should get it. We should do it. I wanted to do the St Theo's watch party. If it wasn't for Contacts in the Desert, I'd have done it sort of closer to the time, I think. Excuse me. Let's drink up, guys. Let's boo-boo. Pardon me. I was balking there. Oh, yeah. Anyway. If you want, we could go on. Well, 69. I don't look like any porters I work with, lol. You're not a HP, are you, Phuket? You're not a brother? Are you? Don't tell me you're a brother. I'll have to salute you. Are you? Surely you're not. I mean, those guys are not at my hospital. They're at a different hospital. It's a Welsh hospital, I think, is it? No, no, I thought it was a Welsh sign. Phuket, are you in the NHS? All right. Jack says, what's this here? Okay. How shall I contact you re-abduction? I'll send details of location and property. I'll put my public email here so anyone can write to me at this email. Now, this is, I've got a separate private email, but that's my public one. Okay, so anyone can get in touch with me there. Phuket says, no, but I work with porters. I'm in transport. Oh, I see. Yeah, the transport guys. Of course, we would often you'd hand stuff over to us and we'd have to take them to wherever they need to be in the hospital. Yeah. Arts Channel. Hello, Arts Channel. Is this a film about a pub crawl? Yes, it is. In fact, that's the sense. It is a pub. It's a pub crawl, but it's a very, very unusual one. Hello, John Fused. Hello. Thank you very much. How are you? Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. We're going to finish soon, I think, but if you guys want to talk about anything else, I'll talk about it. But I think we've exhausted the main subject of this particular film. I think we've exhausted the topic, I expect. John Fused. I went to Glasgow with Penelope and Tarquin on the weekend, Ben. Oh, Glastonbury. Yeah, I mean, Slackser made a video about Glastonbury. He's uploading again, and he said that it's an experience worth going to. I don't. It looks a bit cool. From what I gather, I read Jonathan Downes' The Black Down Mystery, where he says Glastonbury's been corporatized since it started in the 60s. But Slackser says no. There's like small stages which are still very sort of like open-minded and free thinking. But the main stage, obviously, the main stage has become. I mean, I was disturbed as anyone else when I heard people like calling for violence and things like that, and shouting like "kill people" and stuff. Surely that is against the law. I mean, I can't see how they can lock up Lucy Connolly and not lock up this guy who's shouting like calling for murder. You know, 400 ticket. Yeah, I mean it's not cheap, is it? Yeah, and the pyramid stage, Illuminati. Yeah, it's got this pyramid stage. It's actually called the pyramid stage. I'm surprised it doesn't have the all-seeing eye on it. And then so there's all that energy that comes out, and then there's these incitements to violence. He says you can't have your country back, and then things like that, and then kill whoever. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it on my channel, but a guy was inciting murder. He was inciting murder, and I know it involves a war, but it's still you can't call for the killing of enemy soldiers, even if you consider them an enemy army, outside the Kellogg-Briand Pact and the Geneva Convention. So it's still against the law, even if he's referring to the military. Yeah. I mean, Slackser said, "Oh, you should go there." Slackser said it's worth going to, but not after what I saw. After what I saw there, I don't like to. Yeah, 69 Phuket seems middle class indulgency. It's not part of the free festival circuit anymore. Jonathan Downes writes about this. He has an entire chapter in his book, The Black Down Mystery, dedicated to the history of the free festival scene in the 60s and about how it was corrupted. He said it all went wrong after the Battle of the Beanfield. This was this horrific incident in 1983, I think, when the police literally descended on this convoy of festival goers and just beat the crap out of them with truncheons. Even women holding babies were beaten. It was horrific because they had an independent economy. They had their own economy. They were sort of off grid. Arts Channel. Would you sing Jerusalem, Ben? Not only would I have. Did you not see me on the news? Being talked about by Kirsty Walk, whatever her name was. I got on BBC News, singing Jerusalem. It was the Brexit night that never happened. Do you remember? I think it was the Halloween one or something. It didn't work out. It was the Brexit protest when Brexit was supposed to happen. It was delayed, and I was singing Jerusalem, and so I got featured on BBC News. John Fuse, the actual place Glastonbury is worth going to. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near the festival. Absolutely. Oh, Phuket, you remember that video, Phuket, don't you? Glastonbury, the town, is great. It's got a wonderful atmosphere, but even that has now been tainted by censorship. I mean, we talked about this on the Crafty Nihilist channel yesterday when I was on with Liz and Mark on the Crafty Nihilist channel. Oh, I think Liz was the presenter, but they're the ones who went with me to London last weekend. It's that Sandy Adams and some of her colleagues, they were going to do a presentation in Glastonbury, and the sort of pro New World Order hippies banned them, and they've had to reorganise it outside the town. Fears for Porthcall's Elvis Festival moved to Cardiff. Oh, right. Some years ago, I saw one Glastonbury concert on TV, but it was boring. I think I saw it last year with Thomas Sheridan and Maria Wheatley. Oh, Thomas and Maria are all right with her, but a lot of like the pro globalist hippies in Glastonbury, the ones they can't stand her because she brings up the New World Order and stuff like that, and they don't like that. This is why they hate the Glastonbury Symposium, because the Glastonbury Symposium is very much on Sandy's side. Ian R. Crane, the late great Ian R. Crane, he had this problem in Totnes when there was this split in the New Age community between the pro-globalists and the anti-globalists. All right, guys. Anything else you'd like to bring up? I've got to go to bed soon. I've got to go to bed soon. But let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, because I'm happy to talk about it. Let me know. Everyone's gone quiet. I think that means you're all done. Okay. Well, thank you all of you who have posted in the live chat. 69 Phuket, John Fused, Tor Engen, Welsh Ripper, Arts Channel, Jack and Off, Bernard Orr, David Splendid Isolation, Jarl and Zay, Welsh Ripper, Cheesy, Lorenzo Sinclair, where are we now? Hugo Rune, Red Snapper, Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce, 69 Phuket, whoever else, My Teddy Bear Adventures, or the Teddy Bear Adventures. And I think that's everyone. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jarl Zay, you're welcome. Welsh Ripper, Cheesy. Much of people, Lorenzo says everyone else has been beamed up by aliens. I think so. Good night, Red Snapper. Good night, David. Snarnock's turned up for last orders. Hello, Snarnock. I'm sorry, mate. We're about to finish. Oh, but thank you very much. David, nights, David. Night, Bernard. Or yeah, feel free to watch from the beginning, mate. Oh, Serastium, I forgot you. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for posting. Much appreciated. That's really, really cool. It's been a good live stream. And Jarl Zay, not burns up melted. I feel like I'm melting. I've got the fan behind me, so that's keeping me cool enough. But yeah, it's been fun to. Thank you for taking part in this, the first ever St Theo's Day watch party. Now there'll be another one next year, around about June time. June the 1st is St Theo's Day, and I do hope you can join me for that. I will send you plenty of reminders leading up to the time. But we will discuss another hospital portraying movie, which is going to be different, because I mean, there's only about half a dozen or a dozen or so movies that I can think of with hospital portraying themes, but we'll cover them all in the next few years. So many thanks, all of you. Thank you for watching. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.